Hello everyone and welcome to the Cherryheart podcast. I'm Sandra and this is where I share my knitting, crochet and sewing projects with you. You'll find the show notes for this video in the down bar below the video. That's where I'll put the pattern names and yarns and links and what have you for the things I talk about. That'll all be down there for you. You can find my patterns and my tutorials on my website, which is cherryheart.co.uk. I also have tutorials here on YouTube, but I've linked them from the website, so that's sometimes an easier place to look. So thank you very much for being here. Thanks for coming back if you're a returning viewer, and thanks for checking it out if you're a new viewer. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. If you would like to support this podcast, you can always give it a thumbs up. You can leave me a lovely comment. You can subscribe if you'd like to, and there's also the notification bell which you can click if you want to get a notification when I post a new video. So how are you? I hope you are all very well. I hope you found some nice crafting time since I last spoke to you. It's been quite busy around here for a while, quite a few changes I think since I last spoke to you. My daughter's gone back to the uni for a start, so that feels like quite a big change. Yeah, I'm not even sure what else has been going on. I went to the lovely Unravel Festival with Sam, my yarny friend Sam. I will have posted a video about that, so yeah, I'll pop the link for that below if you'd like to check that out, because I had a lot of incoming goodies chatter on there, so if you want to see what I've got lately, that will be there. And we've done Millie's room makeover as well. Again, I've posted a video about that, so I'll pop that below. I'm not sure if that kind of housey content is kind of going to be everyone's thing, because it's quite different from the crochet and knitting. But now we've moved house, it's, you know, that's something that I'm spending quite a bit of time on at the moment, is house things. So I'm putting it up there. If some of you are interested, that's great. But it's kind of what I'm doing when I'm not doing crafting at the moment. I'm doing house stuff. So, yeah, you can't do everything, can you, I suppose? So I'm going to try and make some videos out of what I've got, rather than, you know, if I haven't got anything new crochet or knitting to share, that's why, sort of thing. So yes, so that's new since I last spoke to you. And then I think quite a few podcasts ago I was talking about the fact I was trying to get some more of my patterns onto Etsy, because it feels like I'm sort of getting more people shopping there. I still get quite a lot of Ravelry's, I would say, is my main one. The main place people go to buy my patterns. But yeah, the kind of the Etsy side is there as well, and I haven't got all of my patterns on Etsy. So I'm trying to get up some of the others. So I'll just share a couple that I've put up just recently. So if you prefer Etsy as a platform, and you would prefer to get it there, then these ones will be available there now. So I shall have to refer to my notes. Okay, so I've put up my peachy geometric shawl. I'll pop pictures in here so you know what I'm talking about. So that's quite a nice lightweight shawl, and it kind of plays with two different textures. So like a sort of, you can either go for a solid and like a like a more variegated and like a more solid colour and get the texture, get the difference that way, or you can go for sort of like a maybe a merino based yarn, but then like a more mohair, and sort of get the different of textures that way. So yeah, I quite like the simplicity of that one, and it's quite nice and light, so it's nice and easy to scrunch up and wear. So there's that one, which is peachy geometric. Also the Getting Ziggy shawl. So quite a few people know me through the Ziggy Interrupted scarf that I did. That's already on there, but originally I had a shawl of that, so that was like a triangular shaped, well, again picture, triangular shaped shawl, and that was a 2-colour one. That's going back, it was you know, that's quite an older pattern of mine, but yes, quite sort of dramatic, very geometric, obviously. But yeah, that's what's the word? It's quite sort of bold and striking, so I always quite like that one. So that's on there now. And then I've also got, because we're sort of getting into that autumn winter, I've put my Granny Keep Warm cowl and mitt set up. So as it sounds, it's kind of, well, I keep describing it like I'm not putting a picture up, but a cowl which I quite like because I've done it like in a shape so it kind of narrows, so it stays kind of nice and snug to like around your neck, because I find a lot of cowls just sort of gape and then you sort of end up sort of trying to fold them or tuck them round. So with this one I wanted something that I could put on and it would just sort of scrunch up quite naturally, kind of close. So there's that, and then some just little matching mitts, because they're really, you know, I like mitts. I'm always making mitts. So there's that set, and then I've kept it kind of shawlified sort of for autumn winter. But then I've also put on there my little strawberry scissor keeper. So so it's basically a little, I'm doing it again, little strawberry, and I keep like my yarn needles in it, and then I've got that attached to my scissors, so that kind of helps me, you know, scissors always want to disappear down into the bottom of the project bag or whatever, and this kind of the string kind of makes it easier to kind of find them, or you know, you can have it tucked in a pocket with the strawberry hanging out, so it kind of stays in place, so that's quite nice. Yeah, so I've put that in as well. And then very soon I'll have slightly more Christmas related ones. I'll do that next time. I've already got my Granny's Christmas tree skirt on there, which I was just mentioning on Instagram the other day, because once autumn comes round people start looking for the granny, the Granny's Christmas tree skirt. So that is already on there from the other year. So if you're looking for that, that's already on there. But yeah, I'll put my other kind of Christmassy ones on, or sort of wintry Christmassy ones on for next time. So I'll chat about that next time. So there's that. Shall we get on with some projects now? I'll start with one that that's a nice little kind of one-day project. It was quite a nice one to make. I actually did my last Quiet Moments video about this one, so I'll show you it. It's my little Hexie flower, framed Hexie flower. Yeah, so I'll link that below as well, so I've done a little Quiet Moments video for that. Yeah, it was just one of those, I just really needed to make something, what's the word? Something quite sort of short and quick, instant gratification kind of thing. So this kind of fit the bill, and I had this frame, got these in IKEA, and I wanted something to fit in it, so I thought of this idea. Yeah, I think So Suit Violet had kits for this sort of idea at one point. I guess just the fabric bits. I don't know if she has embroideries on hers or not, so I've got kind of embroidery in the middle. But I'm sure she had the Hexie flowers in kind of like a frame. So I think that kind of influenced me. And what else have I seen recently? Oh, I think just the embroidery on combined with the hexagons was kind of inspired by Emma. And I can't think of her channel name at the moment. It's Vintage, something to do with vintage. Hang on, let's look it up. Yes, Vintage Sewing Box, that's what it is. So yeah, so I think those two combined have inspired me, and I made that one. So it's lovely Liberty fabrics, which I got from Alice Caroline. And yeah, I'll let you watch the video if you want to see that being made, but that was quite satisfying, just have a little, spend a nice day in the craft room and having something to show for it at the end, because a lot of my projects are longer term ones that I'm working on at the minute, so, which I don't mind at all, but at the same time sometimes you just need that quick fix. Someone could hear me talking to you downstairs, of course. He's whittled to come up, haven't you? Going to say hello to everyone? Since you wanted to be here. Oh, this could be trouble. He can see out the window from here, which means extra barking, which we don't want. Are you going to go and sit down then? Go on then. I think he's gone into my daughter's room now. And normally when I bring him up, he has a quick check in there just to see if she's in her room, and that's why he hasn't seen her. But no, she's not here, but... Right, so while we were on the subject of hexagons, let's move back to my Hexie blanket. So last time I was talking about this one, and I'd got a little bit stuck on it because I'd kind of lost the will to carry on with it a little bit. Partly because it's quite small little hexies, so it's kind of daunting. You know, this sort of progress in making it larger is quite slow because you're only dealing with small pieces. But more than that, I think, was just I realised because I've made it, because I wanted all the flowers to be all different colours, as flowers can be, I've kind of gone for all the kind of different shades of flowers. I realised I probably wouldn't use this in my bedroom, which will be more, you know, I'm not going to have all kind of colours in my bedroom. It'll probably be more subtle than that, I suppose, a bit more themed if you like, but you know, I'll probably just, you know, stick to a couple of colours. So then that made me think I'm not quite sure where it's going to go, which that made me lose the enthusiasm for it as well, combined with the slow progress thing. So anyway, but I spoke to you guys, or like I chatted to you guys, and just in the comments and that, you really kind of encouraged me. So I felt like a new, what's the word? A second wind. I got a second wind with it. So two things particularly. Someone said about, because this is the other situation I've got with here, is absolutely loads and loads of hairy old ends. Absolutely covered. Yeah, look at them all. Oh, it's like a horror show, isn't it? So I'd kind of been joining, so I'd made the flowers, I was joining them, and just what I've always done previously is I kind of join a batch, then I do the ends for the batch and so on, and this time I just hadn't got around to it. So someone suggested like just weave in a few ends a day, like do 5 a day, and I thought yes, that is really good. That kind of appeals to me, just the, you know, a little bit of plugging away at it and I'll get there in the end kind of thing without it taking up too much time, and I could do something else. So I really like that idea. But then quite a few people sort of said just back it, you know, put some fabric on the back, cover them up, don't worry about it. And normally that kind of thing I don't normally go for, because I'm a little bit, I don't know, uptight, a bit of a anorak, I don't know what the word is, but I'm a bit sort of like, oh well, I know they'd be there, oh I don't know, I ought to finish it properly, and you know, I'd be a bit sort of fussy about it, I suppose. But this time I thought, yes, that's the answer. That could well be the answer. And I do like the idea of, because it's very much a quilt style crochet blanket, this sort of English paper piecing style. I just think it being backed would really suit it as well. So I have put on, since we last spoke, I've put on all my little, I made half flowers. I could have just done it in the cream, but I thought I'd make the little half flowers to straighten off the edge. So I've done that on each side. I always have to show you as if to prove it. You won't believe I've done the other side unless you actually see it with your own eyes. So that's all filled in there. So I had nice straight edges there, and then on the bottom edge they were ending in the flowers, so I've gone along and filled like another row of hexagons all along the bottom edge to match the top. So this is kind of my finished size now, which I don't think will fit in. I'll try and show you it. I'll pop it on the bed or something so you can see the whole thing. So it's not huge. It's kind of like a good baby blanket, cot blanket kind of size, which might be interesting. Not that there's any babies on the horizon right now, but you know, there might be. The only downside with that is this is very much a, you know, it's all these hand dyed yarns and things, so it's not exactly kind of easy care, easy wash type blanket. So I'd have to be careful about who the recipient was, I think. The only trouble with this camera is the battery always runs out. It's very annoying. So I've started to square it off round. So I've done a little bit of edging and I've filled in the little points of the hexie ends. So I did a round where I kind of filled in and just did a row of like double crochets or US single crochets around the edge, around the sides, and filled in between the points. And then I'll going around and I'm just doing a row of trebles now. Oh, that's American doubles. And then I've got to decide whether I want to back it but still have like a sort of some kind of pretty crochet border, or whether I back it and actually sew on like a fabric binding, which I thought might be quite nice. I could use this little edging and kind of bring my binding over and encapsulate that to kind of finish it off and seal it all in, which I do really quite like the idea of, because I think that would be an easier way to finish, because if I have a crochet edging of some sort, I'll need some way of finishing the backing, turning it under to sew it on to get a good finish for the backing. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I kind of had in my mind that there might be a bit of a frilly coloured crochet border, but maybe the sort of neat quilt style binding finish might be better. I don't know. I might have to experiment with crochet border ideas to see if I can find anything I like, but I'd also have to think about the best way to attach the backing if I did that, because obviously I'd need to leave an edge free to crochet into to keep the border going. But at least I'm almost there with kind of getting it prepped. I thought I'll put this round of trebles on. I've got my nice sort of square rectangular shape then, and I will see. So backing fabric wise, it'd be really nice to do kind of like a brushed cotton, but I don't think I've got any, and I don't want to buy anything else for it because I've got tons of fabric, you know, in all my shelves that I need to be using, so it's pointless buying more. So I'll definitely use something I've got, but I'll go through and see what I've got suitable and maybe try some border ideas and just have a think about what direction that's going to go in. But yeah, let me know, because you guys always have good ideas. So that's that one. I've been working on that one quite a lot to sort of get that to this stage. So I might finish that border up and then put that aside for a bit, and then I'll sort of finish it off in the next go. Right, the next one is another work in progress, and this was just a glint in the eye when I was last talking to you, so this has come on in leaps and bounds. Yeah, so I think last time I spoke about that I was just talking about the idea of doing it. Yeah, it was between two, so with this one, and I had one other that I was considering, so this is the one I've gone for. So it's the Cloudy Days sweater by SuviKnits. Now this I have raced through, and I'm sort of almost at the finish stage really. So let's show you what I've got. There we go. So annoyingly on the camera you can really see this line I've got. But yeah, haven't quite finished the arms yet. I've done all the decreases, so I just need to finish the length and get my cuffs on. I have done a neckline, but that's going to need redoing. So basically, I've done the pattern repeats that it says, and you can either in the middle of the chart or at the end of the chart. At the moment I've ended in the middle of the chart, so I could see how much more length I needed. So I've left that there, and then I thought I'd put the arms on, because I was very tight for yarn on this one, because I originally had a different idea of what to do with the yarn. Got the yarn according for that pattern and then changed to this pattern because I'm daft. So I'm kind of tight on yarn for this. So what I've done is I've made a slightly smaller size on a slightly bigger needle to kind of get a more open gauge and hopefully sort of eke the yarn out a bit further. And I have got a matching yarn that I could use on the, like a kind of coordinating matching yarn that I could use on the cuffs. I thought if it comes to it, I'll put it on the neck and the cuffs and the hem. But as I've come this far through it now, I think I'll have enough to finish it all in this one colour, so that's good. So, just thinking what else I've got to tell you. So basically, I've loved knitting this. It's double knit. So let me tell you about the yarn actually. So it's Lay Family yarn, double knit, and this is in my Sunkissed Succulents colourway. So this is the one that I dyed up when I went to see Kelly and Nick at Lay Family headquarters. And this yarn is the most squishiest, softest, plump, delicious stuff ever. It's such a joy to knit with. Oh my god, I love it. It feels amazing. And this pattern to work on has been really nice. It's on the back as well. Yeah, it's been really lovely to work on, and yeah, I've just raced through it, partly because it's DK knit, I suppose. So I've knit quite a few 4-ply ones now, so this sort of feels relatively quick, and just keeping the pattern for interest has made it go quicker as well. So that's been really good. And then also the car journey to take my daughter to uni, so we're going down to Cornwall. That gave me a whole load of knitting time. So I picked up stitches for one arm. I think I'd started it, yeah. So I finished one arm on the way down there. And then we were travelling later, so it got dark, so I couldn't do any more. And then on the way back, I picked up the stitches for the other arm and did the other arm on the way home. So that was good. But I made one fatal error, which was when I picked up stitches on the way home, I forgot, obviously, how many to pick up. And I've picked up, I can't remember what the number was, but let's say it's 72, something like that maybe. And I think I should have picked up 76. I've got 4 different, basically, from my first sleeve, which is this one. So this one is 4 stitches less until I get down to the last couple of repeats, when I realised, so I missed some repeats out. So I was like, oh, that'll bring it right, that'll be fine, it'll be fine, it's only 4 stitches, it'll be fine. But I am a little bit dubious about whether I should go back and change. I really don't want to, because I've got a whole sleeve I'd have to redo, and 4 stitches isn't that much. But when I put it on, I can ever so slightly sort of see it and feel it. Now I haven't blocked it yet, and I was thinking it'll be fine, I'll just block it, and that'll make up the difference, that'll be fine. But there is a little bit in my head saying it would be nicer if you re-knit it though, wouldn't it? So I don't know. What do you reckon? I suppose I could try blocking it. But I think, if I'm honest, if I get to the stage where I'm kind of done and I block it and it's still not right, I can't see me probably going back to change it. unless it's really bad, I suppose. Whereas if I'm kind of doing it as part of the process now, maybe I'll be more like, oh, it'd be a pain, but if I just do it, it won't take me that long, really. I don't know. What do you reckon? What would you do? Camp frog it and redo, or camp, nah, block it, it'll be fine. So that was one thing. So to decide on the length of the sleeves and the actual jumper, I thought I'll finish the neck first, because if that because it's quite wide and gaping, because I've made it on a bigger needle size, I think it's made the neck hole slightly bigger than it would be in the pattern, but it's got like a folded neckline, so you sort of knit up, knit the ribbon, fold it over and sew it on the inside, which I think will make it fine. That will make it sort of strong enough and pull it up enough that I don't need to worry too much about the neckline being a bit too big. But what I actually did to kind of save on yarn and be lazy and kind of cheat was I thought, well, rather than folding, you know, knitting twice the amount and folding it over, I'll just knit a neckline like normal and see if I can get away with that. And it turns out I can't, especially because I've done a tubular cast off, which is pretty stretchy, so it's actually stretching out quite a lot, and it's fine, it's quite nice on, but I thought I haven't even blocked it yet, and if it's stretched out any more than this, it's going to be a little bit silly. So what I need to do, and I knew that before I did it, which is annoying, I thought to myself, like, if you are going to do that, the tubular cast on's still going to be too stretchy, it's not going to be strong enough to hold it in. But I did it anyway, because I don't know why. I don't know why I'd made that choice, but that's what I did. So I need to unpick this now and either do like a regular cast off, so it kind of got a little bit more structure to it, so it doesn't stretch out too much, or to just, you know, knit and actually sew the hem as it should be, which I think is probably the better choice, really. I think that will make it kind of stronger, I suppose. It'll be more stable. I think it'll make a more stable neckline is what I'm thinking. So I need to bother to do that, which is really annoying, but my own stupid fault. And then once I know how the neckline's going to be and I can see how it's going to like hang and fit, then I'll make a decision on my final decision on my sleeves and whether I need to finish that chart, the lace chart, before I add the hem to the jumper, which at the moment it seems like I probably am going to. Yeah, so apart from a little bit of fiddling and finagling, I'm kind of pretty much there with this. And I've got, so that's how much yarn I've got. I've got lots of yarn attached. So I've got the yarns attached to the bottom of the jumper, and then I left it on in case I needed to keep going, and then I've started the arm, which I've also going. So I've got a bundle of yarn in here that's attached to those two, and then I got another skein and did the other arm, and then I had the other end of this attached to the neckline. So I've got blooming strands of yarn going everywhere. And then I thought I'd finished the neckline, so I cut that. So this is only attached one end again, but I might reattach it to finish the neckline. So it's all part of kind of not making too many ends. I don't want to cut it and then just rejoin it unnecessarily, but it does make it a little bit fiddly to work when I'm working out both ends of the skein. Especially that other ball I showed you, which is falling apart. But those are my last two balls of this yarn, and I'm also kind of hedging my bets on seeing how far I can get with this yarn while it's all still attached, so that then I can just switch out to the alternate colour for the hems if I need to, rather than go all the way, you know, finish all the body, do all the hem of that, and then find out I haven't got enough to finish the main part of the arm, if you see what I mean. Does that make sense? So I thought if I'll knit down all the bits that I know I want to do in this colour, and then I can just bring the other one in if I need to. So that was my thinking, but it does make life a little bit awkward for working, especially now this ball is completely falling apart, so that's just going to get into a massive tangle if I'm not careful. But yeah, hopefully next time I'll have a finished sweater to show you, so that will be good. Anything else I have to tell you? Let me check my notes. Been trying to make better notes so I'm less all over the place. So a sort of idea for a project. I've been a bit, I haven't quite lost my mojo crafting wise, but yeah, it's been interesting lately. I wouldn't say I've lost my mojo, my crafting mojo exactly, but I am finding it quite hard, especially with the crochet. I'm finding it quite hard to be inspired by things I'm normally kind of inspired by. Yeah, just I suppose I'm just more taken with knitting things lately and jumpers. But anyway, yeah, I did have a little idea for a crochet project that I want the item, but I'm not sure I'm particularly keyed up to make it, which is a bit of a problem because I was struggling enough with that other blanket, so I don't know how I'll get on starting another one. I'm not 100% about, but at least I do want the finished thing. So anyway, I pulled a whole load of yarns out, so this is kind of my colour palette, and it would just be a granny square blanket. So I have a granny square blanket on my bed at the moment, which I'll pop a picture in for you to see, which I made a few years ago, and I really like it, but I want that blanket bit in different colours. So I've kind of pulled out these generally much more warmer tones. I have got a blue in there, but sorts of browns and pinks and sort of peaches and, you know, sort of, what's the word, toffee colours and dusky pinks and what have you. So they're all sort of sat in there for the most part of the blanket, and then I've pulled out like a load of different kind of paley, beigey, neutrally shades that would be like the final round. And so I'm really excited about the idea of having that blanket, and I want it to be really big and really lovely for winter. So I've got my kind of bedspready style, my big summer dreaming blanket that I made, that I've had on all summer, and I've loved that. Loved seeing it in there. Oh, it's perfect for what I wanted. It's just brilliant. And then I kind of want that same lovely big sumptuous sized blanket, like a kind of a wintry one. So this would be like something nice and something thicker, but that looks cozier as well. So I kind of want that kind of firesidey warm colours to put on in winter. So that's what I want. I don't want to go too bold with the colours though, because I'm thinking something quite subtle for that room in there, but I just yeah, I thought we could take something a little bit stronger for winter and then have these kind of neutrals as well to kind of tone it down. But I didn't want it just edged in just one colour and be too matchy, but I thought if I've got a few different bits and bobs and I could, you know, space them all over the blanket, that might work out quite nicely. That's the idea anyway, but I haven't actually even started it yet. Oh, and I was also thinking of holding them double. So these are all 4-ply yarns of various sorts, sort of left over from things or what have you. And I was thinking if I hold it double, it would make it kind of really thick and squishy. So yeah, I might do that. Or I could make it granny stripe, which would make it a bit easier and quicker. I'm slightly put off by the idea of all the ends, to be honest. Yeah, normally they don't bother me, but for some reason lately I just cannot be bothered with them. I just like the idea of, that's why knitting's appealing, because you just cast on, knit and knit and knit, and you don't have to worry about constantly breaking and changing the colours. It's weird, isn't it? Because normally that's what I love about crochet, all the different colours, and the ends are never really, you know, obviously you'd prefer if you didn't have them, but it's not particularly troubled me that you had to weave in ends and things. And now I just cannot be doing with it at the moment. So yeah, I don't know if that will get very far, but I would like to make a start at least. Right, anyway, that is it. That is enough waffle from me. So thank you ever so much, as I said, for being here. Thank you for sticking to the end if you did. Really appreciate that, and I shall hope to see you again soon. I hope you find some lovely, calm and peaceful crafting moments. Until next time, bye. Oh, you come back now, have you? Hello. What are you doing?